Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. I'm Emily Priest, and I'm here with my colleague Adam Flaherty, and welcome to today's webinar on the features within the newly released Creo 5. For some background, Concurrent Engineering are one of the resellers within the UK, providing solutions for CAD, PLM, technical documentation, and Internet of Things. There's more information on all of these solutions on our website, along with our webinar page, which gives you a list of all the upcoming and on-demand viewings. We regularly post on our social media outlets, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and on our blog, where we can keep you up to date with what we are doing and information on offers or new releases. Feel free to follow and reach out to us on there. So today we'll be taking you through the new features available to you in the latest release of Creo 5. Then we will give you our top 10 improvements, where Adam will show you what they look like. Our aim is to give you a taste of what to expect from this release and open you up to what upgrading your licenses could do for you and your design. The webinar is being recorded and a link will be sent out to you later on this week. So I'll now hand over to Adam, who'll be taking you through the presentation.
Thanks, Emily, and good afternoon, everyone. I am Adam Flaherty, an applications consultant at Concurrent Engineering, and as stated by Emily, I'll be taking you through some of the new functionality out now in Creo 5. So to start, we'll have a quick look at an overview of all that's new in this release. As you can see, there are quite a few areas of the software which have seen improvements. We see that all of the core environments, such as part modeling, servicing, assembly design, have added or improved functionality, and for the first time we have topology optimization and computational fluid dynamics. We will be running separate webinars for these areas, so be sure to get yourselves signed up for them. Unfortunately, there isn't enough time to go through every enhancement in today's session, but for those interested, you can follow the link shown on screen to check all of the details on the PTC website. So on with the demonstration. As Emily mentioned, we have picked 10 key enhancements that we want to show you. So let's start at number 10, designing in perspective mode. So we'll now jump over to the software and have a look at perspective mode. I'll just open a part. Now, as we see, obviously it's loaded in this orthographic view, obviously default setting. So in Creo 5, we can now model whilst maintaining perspective view, so the system does not default back to orthographic. For those of you who noticed in Creo 4, the render tab has been removed. This is normally where you would have found the perspective view icon. With this change to this version, you can now enable perspective mode from either the model tab in assembly view or the view tab. However, to make things easier, you can toggle between perspective and orthographic with an in-graphics toolbar icon that has been added here. Okay, we can toggle between perspective and orthographic. To change the settings of your perspective view, we can click the reorient button, go to the perspective option, and we've got both perspective and orthographic options here, but we can change focal length, we can change eye distance, image zoom, etc. So how does this all look and feel when we're designing? So if I quickly create an extrusion at the bottom of this base here, and we're just going to make a simple cutout and get it to remove material. And as we can see here, the perspective is already in view. So if we flip this, tap to remove, okay, so we are maintaining perspective mode. Okay, this will be very beneficial to get a realistic view of the product you're working on. Number 9 on our list are the enhancements to the search capabilities of the model tree. So jumping back into Creo, I'll quickly open up this assembly here, okay, and I'll open up the model tree. We can see that we've got a few entities within the sub-assemblies in here, okay. So searching the model tree is easier in Creo 5. We can now search for features, for example, extrude. We can highlight all the extrudes that's in this assembly. But in addition to that, there's also extra query filters that we can add in. So, for example, we can filter by type, or we can have a look at more queries. Okay, that we can add to the search. So if I look for only part level and look for parts called rivet, okay, all of them come in. What we can also do as a bit more advanced functionality is if we are utilizing 3 columns, for example, feature ID, we can right click in the search bar and tell the search bar to include that into the search. So I'm going to bring in feature number there, and obviously we're going to search for feature number 8. Okay, and it highlights all feature 8s, or at least with an 8 in the search within the model tree. Coming in at number 8 on our list is the improved mini toolbar support for drawings. So let's just quickly open up a drawing. Okay, this one will do nicely. Now, the scope of the mini toolbar within Creo 5 has broadened, not just to drawings, but we'll see it also in flexible modeling and in 3D annotations, anything related to model-based definition. There is full support for 2D annotations and other drawing objects such as views and tables. And as a result, there's a faster and more intuitive command access in object action workflows. So, for example, if I were to left click on this view now, we get this mini toolbar that appears with view-related commands. If I was to click on the dimension, we get dimension-related commands. Obviously, we can right-click in here and customize to our heart's content also. And this has been added into Creo 5. Next on the list at 7 are the mirror tool enhancements. So let's just quickly open up a model. Okay, so enhancements to the mirror tool in Creo 5 result in faster definition and redefinition of the mirror feature. We now get a preview in the graphics window and during feature creation or redefinition for immediate visual feedback on the geometry. So if I were to select this extrusion and mirror this over this plane, okay, we can see we get visual updates here. Now if I go to the references tab and look at the mirrored objects, I can now go and select these objects and we'll see it automatically, instantaneously gets added into the visual feedback. So bring this in here. Now this example here, this mirror failed. I'm trying to bring in this chamfer on an entity that doesn't exist in this mirror feature collection box. So if I add this in, we should see everything is okay now because of parent and child relationships are satisfied. At number 6, we have round handling in the draft feature. So again, let's just go back into Creo. I'll close this one now. I'll open up this one here. Okay, so within Creo 5, it's now easier to apply drafts to design models that already contain rounds or chamfers, whether it be through designs that have come through the design department or imported from a supplier perhaps. But obviously the main criteria of those rounds and chamfers existing already is where this enhancement comes in. So if we were to apply a draft onto this model, okay, we'll look at then the draft surfaces that we're going to look to get. Let's grab these. Let's just go for these ones for the moment, okay? Now look at the hinge. We'll go for the top hinge here with the pull direction obviously being set. Okay, let's go for a positive value. Well, okay. So we can see then the draft is being applied to these surfaces, okay, and it's handling the rounds almost as if it's it's maintaining the rad, okay, but obviously we'll show more of that. If we wanted to have a constant width rad on this, we've got this option here that does not propagate the draft along tangent surfaces. So if we untick this, we'll see then that those rounds, although the model has been drafted, those rounds are now constant width. This enhancement increases productivity through faster creation of drafted surfaces having adjacent rounds or chamfers. onto the top 5 of our list now, and at number 5 we have new commands for hiding and showing. So if we come back into Creo, I'll close this model, I'll open up an assembly. That desk fan from the beginning would be good. There we go. Now, I'm sure we're all aware that we can hide and show entities, components, parts, etc. within Creo, but they've now added 2 extra functions. We have now got, we can access them from the mini toolbar. We've got show only, so we're only showing the selected object. Everything else is hidden away. Okay, if I press Control Z to bring that back. Now, the other one, the opposite for that, will be show everything except what we've got selected. Okay, so it's kind of the inverse of that. Okay, and then we can do multi-selection using box selection, and we can say hide them, show only those ones, or hide only those ones, etc. Quicker methods of setting up layers. In at number 4, we have new types of corner relief for sheet metal. So let's open up a sheet metal component in here. Let's go for this one. Okay. Now, when we are creating flanges, for example, we can now go into our relief section and we go to our corner relief, and we've got new types of corner relief, okay, to provide more geometric solutions. So, for example, we can bring in square, rectangular, oblong, for example, with that. And we've also got settings for orientation as well. We've got bisector and diagonal have been added. The origin options, corner point, bend lines, intersection, help you position the shape, okay. And the orientation origin options are also available for other shapes such as circular, rectangular, or round. Staying on the theme of sheet metal, the process for creating a flattened representation or flat pattern of your component has now been improved and simplified within Creo 5. So generally the process would be that you would have a flat representation or simplified representation in the flat state of the model whilst having a master rep in the formed or bent state. Okay, we can easily switch between the two, the flattened and the bent state of the sheet metal component, and no additional wind chill objects are created or required for this. So if we go into the model, and we'll open up this one again. So the process now for creating a simplified representation is as follows. We go to the flat preview. This shows us obviously the flat pattern preview of the model. But within here now we have this new button here for the create representation. We just click on that. Okay. It asks us for a name. That's over here. So we can leave it as or call it whatever and then create. Okay. And now if we look in our view manager and look at our simplified representations, we now have this flat representation and the master representation. Very easy, very quick and simple. For second place, we have Helical Volume Sweep. Creo 5 broadens sweep functionality beyond the 2D sweep operations that are available in previous releases by introducing Volume Helical Sweep. So if we go to the software, let's have a look at this one. Okay, so with this introduction of this new tool, okay, we can accurately model geometry resulting from cutting tools used in manufacturing operations. Okay, supported use cases cover grinding wheels, screw conveyor scenarios, etc., where in both cases the sweep is performed along a helical curve. Material is removed where it intersects the part along its trajectory, and then from the helical sweep dashboard, you can easily define and control the parameters of the helical trajectory. So we'll go through the process of creating one now. So in order to begin, we could have a sketched entity already existing, or we could do it within the tool. The choice is yours. but I'm going to use it pre-existing. So we'll select volume helical sweep, and we go through the initial stage of setting up a standard helical sweep as we'd do before. So we define a sweep profile. Now this sweep profile has to be in line with the sketch for the cutting tool, perhaps, if we say that. So with this, I'm going to do a line that is coincidental with this top line to about fixed length about here. I'm just going to make this one coincidental with this one. Okay, and we'll knock it back a little bit. If anything, I'll put a dimension off here, something like this for 5 mil, something like that. Now with that in, we've got our section, our sweep profile set up. Now we need a helix axis, so we're going to pick up on one of the axes in here. This one will be fine. And now with this, we now look at the section. We need to find the section of the grinding tool. Okay, so here we've got this option for sketch section or selected. So we're going to look at selected. We're going to bring in this one that we've already sketched. Now the axis of revolution on this one is relevant to the center of that grinding wheel. We'll say this one. We'll flip the arrow to make it obviously in line with the sweep profile. And the origin of this sketch, okay, I'm going to place it at this top left point here. Now, as soon as I've inputted that data, we can see that we've got a visual feedback on the model. Now, what we can do here then is we can look at a couple of extra tools. One is to see the helix of the cutting tool. Okay, as we can see that, we can obviously look at the pitch, change the pitch, get the number of turns. We can also see the cutting tool itself. Okay, so we say, imagine this is the grind wheel, and we see it with the intersection of the geometry. We can actually drag this along its helical trajectory and see where it is cutting in relation to the model, where it's removing the material. Okay, we have also got adjustment options. We can tilt around the X or the Z axis, let's say the Z here for maybe 3 degrees. Okay, and we can see that now tilted. If I bring that to 0, straighten up again. So we can have that in as well. Once we're done, we say OK, and obviously review the geometry. Now then, occupying our number 1 spot is the new functionality of utilizing sketch regions. We've placed this at number 1 because we feel that this is one of the most significant additions to a fundamental area that all users will spend time in, that area being Sketcher. This new workflow will help users quickly create geometry in a way that we haven't seen before in the software. So let's show you what we mean. So if I just open up this model. Now, a sketch region is a closed contour defined by sketch entities and their intersection with coplanar 3D edges in the part geometry. What that means is that if we were to create a sketch like so, for example, now we use a selection filter of a sketch region down here, and we're able to highlight those areas, those intersecting areas between these sketches. And if we want to, we can then extrude those areas. Okay. I'll just grab these ones. We can extrude those. Okay. So using sketch-based feature geometry, it's faster and easier using this method. Using sketch regions reduces the time or the need to perform project and trim operations within Sketcher. It also offers a flexible way to use portions of a single sketch as the basis for several sketch-based features. When using this functionality, the new keyboard shortcuts of Shift and S and Shift and G let you toggle between the sketch region selection filter and geometry selection filter, respectively. Okay, I think we have time to fit in a couple of extra items. So I think, yeah, there we go. So I think a good place to start would be looking at the user interface. So in Creo 5, we'll see that certain elements have been given a modernized appearance. This includes feature handles, text, dimensions, and both 2D and 3D lines. This modernized appearance improves visibility of these objects, making interaction easier. So if we just come back to here, I'll just do a quick example. Say for feature handles, if we were to place a hole, as we can see here now, what we used to see in with the diamonds, these are now these broken links, and when we then attach them, obviously the diamond then forms. Okay, and when we place it, we obviously get this yellow open diamond here. If we notice as well, the drag handles for the extrusion have changed as well. They're a bit more visible within the geometry. So this is one of the enhancements with the UI. The other things with text dimensions and lines, I know that with the dimensions, now it's easier to put a radial diameter in a drawing, or just to show a rad with the R prefix. But also for lines and text, we've got increased visibility, increased clarity of them. We now have new config options for, if we go to NTD display, and then here we go. So we've got lines anti-aliasing. Okay, obviously not in a drawing. Well, we're not in a drawing at the moment, but we've got text anti-aliasing as well that we can use. I want to mention a couple of new things in the drawings. Obviously, we know that the mini toolbar has been optimized for drawings, but a couple of other things with drawings. So if I just load in tables, right? So we now have additional report parameters for repeat regions. Namely, we can go straight into the model and show the name, type, and user define now parameter. Whatever that value wants to be. We can now show these directly in the repeat region as opposed to having to go through the assembly level and add those extra parameters in the BOM settings. Okay, that's one addition. Another one is in Creo 5 there's improved performance for large assembly drawings. The multi-threading algorithm for hidden line removal calcs in drawing mode is further optimized for large assemblies. Because the number of computations involved in HLR calcs are typically time-consuming. These computations contribute significantly to the time it takes to perform commands such as opening a drawing, updating a drawing, or a drawing sheet, as well as most actions triggering a repaint of the drawing. So using multiple cores or processes saves times and improves efficiency when updating views of large assemblies. The multi-threading is controlled by a drawing detail option. It's HLR _ multi-threading. Okay, and for drawings created with Creo Parametric 4 or later, this option is set to yes by default, but it's set to no in Creo 3. To enable this option, you open the drawing and set the option. Okay, and this will then improve performance, future performance by using multi-threading. Right, I think I've got time for just one more thing. Yep, Emily's given me the nod. So, okay, sheet metal conversion or conversion into sheet metal has been improved. Okay, so if we just open up this model in preparation. Oh, go for that. Now, bring it onto the screen. Okay. So, conversion tool in Creo 5 has improved to support conversion of non-uniform thickness solid parts into sheet metal parts. And with this, we can enforce a uniform thickness. Okay. This improvement supports imports of sheet metal parts from legacy systems and the conversion into valid Creo sheet metal components. Now, the enhancements give you a bit more control over the conversion. After defining the first wall and using automatic thickness detection, you can perform, you can look at manually overwriting the calculated thickness, or include additional surfaces or exclude those surfaces. There's also extra options for dealing with any adjacent rounds or chamfers. So if we just have a look at this model, we can see there that's non-uniform thickness. Okay, tapers to this end. Now, if we go into the conversion process and we select drive and surface, okay, now it's set there for 10. Well, obviously we can edit that as much as we want. Now we're going to select this first one here for the drive and surface, and as we see straight away, it's forcing this 10 thickness. Now, if I go to include surfaces and include all these other ones here, okay, we can see that that has been maintained throughout the length of that. Okay. Now, if you notice as well, I do have a round on this end here, and this system has not picked that up as yet. So what I'll do, I'll just add those to my included surfaces list. Okay, and we can then tell the system will then recreate these adjacent rounds. Okay. Now with this, I'll say okay, and okay, we get a little. It's not an error, just a little warning. Okay, but that's fine. And now we have our converted sheet metal component with the round brought through. Okay. Now with that, I think we'll end it there. We'll come to I'll pass you back over to Emily to see if there are any questions that have came in. Okay. Thanks, Emily.
Brilliant, thanks Adam. Yeah, I've made a note of a couple of questions that came in. So this one here. So we are using Windchill 10.1. Is this compatible if we move up to Creo 5?
For Creo 5, you'll need Windchill 11 onwards. So if you're looking to make the upgrade to Creo 5, then obviously Windchill will have to follow. So this is something that we can definitely assist with.
Yeah, so it's a case of sort of getting in touch with our support team or with your account managers in between all of us. We can come up with a plan to get you moved up to a compatible Windchill system. Brilliant. Okay, the next one that we've got here. So how do we actually get the access to Creo 5?
Okay, so there's a number of different ways. Obviously, there's some attachments, some links that we've sent out, I'm sure. But failing that, you can go onto the PTC website. They've got a whole. I think the link that I showed earlier in the presentation will take you to an area where you can download a trial or download the full version. In terms of licensing, because with the trial you get 33 days, but if you want to actually move up to Creo 5, you may have to go through the process of up-revving your licenses. That can be done on the PTC licensing portal. So you just go on there, say that I want to up the version to Creo 5 from whatever you're currently using, and then the new license file will get sent to you from PTC. Okay,
so yeah, and Creo 5 is sort of available to anyone that is, if you've got still the perpetual model licensing, so long as they're on support, still you will have access to that. For those of you who are now on the subscription licensing, obviously all of your updates come included within that package, so you will already be able to go get those licenses downloaded. Obviously we're here to help as well. If you've got any problems or need any assistance in helping getting those downloaded, then yeah, just let us know. I think we've got time for one more.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy here said we saw the PTC presentation at Develop 3D where they mentioned the CFD extension and asking when that is coming out. I mean, I can take that one. So the CFD extension is actually already out. I know that we haven't covered it today, but Adam, if you wanted to just move the presentation along, if you could.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, we're actually doing a separate webinar on the CFD extension, which is on the 19th of April. So if that is something that you are interested in, I'd definitely say to get yourself registered up to that. It's proving quite popular already, so I'd definitely say get yourself a place on there. But as I said, it is already out and compatible with, is it Creo 4?
Creo 4 M40 onwards, so the latest version of Creo 4. So work with this version of 4 and every version of 5.
Brilliant. Okay, I think that's time, isn't it, really? So I'll just go through here then. So our future webinars then. So we've got the CFD on the 19th of April, as we just mentioned. We're also looking at Creo Simulate and improving your product quality on the 16th of May. 20th of June, we're going and looking at managing your bill of materials. And on the 27th of June, we're looking at the manufacturing apps, which for those of you who were at Develop 3D as well, I'm sure you're aware of your Creo topology optimization and your mold machining on there as well. So that's everything from us for today. Thank you everybody for joining us. We hope that you did find this valuable. Obviously have a look at our other webinars and we hope that you do enjoy the rest of the day.